You're here. What luck. What luck. It is the 4th of December, 2024. And I always start with that because if you're watching this later on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere else, keep in mind we're talking live 4th of December, 24. If you're watching it recorded, keep that in mind. Particularly when I tell you about the first thing we're going to talk about, which is the reopening this weekend of Notre Dame in Paris. You know, it's been, 5 years since the fire there. And
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, they've been working a lot. Working very hard to get it open in time. Yeah, it was 5 years ago, it looks like. Yeah, I just looked it up. And it's opening up, and Donald Trump is flying there for the opening. God knows why. I guess he wants to see Mitterrand, see the Mitterrand. I don't know how long Mitterrand's going to be there, but it's supposed to be beautiful. You can see it's much, if you've ever been to Notre Dame, you can see it's much brighter. The stone is white. It's been cleaned. It's a whole new thing. But here's what you got to know before you go. You can still get in for free, but if you just sort of show up, you're going to face a really long line. There are two things you could do. You can go online to Notre Dame. I'll say it in English. Notre Dame de Paris. Notre Dame de Paris.fr for France. Notre Dame de Paris.fr, and there you can register for a time to enter for free. So that will happen. There's a site, by the way, when you go to the website, it's maybe in French, but there's a way to turn it into English as well. The church is open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning, 7:45 a.m. till 7 p.m. And on Saturday and Sunday from 8:30 in the morning till 7:30 p.m. But they will not let anyone in a half an hour before closing. So those numbers are sort of arbitrary. Subtract a half hour from the back. So I said there are two ways.
Are they doing regular mass there?
I'm sorry?
Are they doing mass there at all?
Yeah, they're going to be doing regular masses, yeah. But I said there are two ways to get...
So on Sunday you can't enter, I'm sure, for like 3 or 4 hours. So probably in the morning and whatnot, right?
Yeah, go in the morning. But I said there are two...
Usually the mass is at 8 or 9, and then there's another one at 11 and another one at 1. That's at least how it is in my church.
Yeah, I said there were two ways to go. One was to go to the website I just gave you. The other is to download an app, which is the Notre Dame de Paris app. I'm saying everything in English. Notre Dame de Paris. Notre Dame de Paris. It's an app for your phone, and that will make it very easy for you to reserve a time to show up. They do have guided tours that you can pay for. I'm sure you'll find that on the app. If you can't get inside, they'll do a guided tour around the outside. But there's still some construction going on, but nothing that will bother you. Anyway, it's a great thing coming up this weekend. So if you're going to Paris in the immediate future, or hopefully for a lot of the future, it'll be open for your visit. It doesn't cost anything unless you pay for a guided tour, but do book ahead before you go. That's my bottom line on it. And there's another opening.
Can you still visit the tower? Because that used to be...
Yeah, you can't visit the tower yet. They're still working on that. Good point.
Yeah, because that's something they used to charge for, and also in Sacré-Cœur is also they charge money for entering the tower. For the record, I mean, I know a lot of churches like Lutheran churches in Europe and other denominations. The Catholic Church does not allow you to charge money to go to their churches, so they're never going to charge for that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a Catholic thing. Oh, good to hear. So you have an opening. You have a new opening in New York.
I do have a new opening in New York, and it's an icon. It's been a long time. The hotel has been closed now for a long time. The Four Seasons New York, and there's two of them. There's one downtown that opened how many years ago? Like 3-4 years ago, maybe?
I only know the one on 57th Street. Where's the one downtown?
Yeah, this is the one. It was closed for a long time, and it's they have a new suite, an $80,000 a night penthouse suite with 4 balconies and 360-degree city view.
Yeah, might as well put, I don't know, everybody who owns some kind of tech firm's name on the door, because you and I aren't going to be staying there at $80,000 a night. So.
$80,000 a night is a little,
That's before taxes.
They really don't go for that, I mean, it's obviously there might be a sheik or somebody that who doesn't care how much money he spends. But there's no pictures. I guess this is a guest room. It doesn't look like a guest room. It looks like a suite of some kind. I haven't looked anything on the pictures, but it says, the spa is open. They were closed for a couple of years, I think, and it's now open again. It's the one on 57th, and I'm sure that like we see when we see major refurbishment, that the prices are going to go up significantly. So I would expect like $1,500 a night now. It would probably be the new norm.
And don't forget that's 80,000 before taxes. Do you know if the hotel's still owned by the guy who made his fortune creating and selling Beanie Babies? That's who owned it from the beginning. I know that.
I have no idea, but I know that we're familiar. What's the name of your buddy who used to
Dan
work at
Bromley
14?
used to be the vice president. He was in charge of that hotel, and general manager as well. And yeah, it was the Beanie Babies fortune. He owned that Four Seasons and one in Hawaii. I don't know which one, but who knows? You know, I mean, there you go. If only you invented Beanie Babies. Who figures these things out and makes all this money doing stuff like that?
Alcohol, a lot of alcohol. That's when you're creative, you know.
Well,
But
it was a lovely hotel. I'm sure it's even lovelier. Yeah, that and
I'm
Notre
sure
Dame.
it is, and now that it's fresh, it's probably now taking the top spot in New York. There's a lot of hotels that needs to be refurbished, but this one is obviously going to be the top spot there.
Sort of looks like white, like the inside of Notre Dame. There only needs an altar to finish it off. In that picture.
Exactly.
Right.
And then this was a big thing that happened with a woman that decided to hop on a plane without a ticket. What happened here?
Well, she snuck on. I mean, you know, she wanted to go to Paris, and she snuck on. This is hard to do, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the story for it. I had it on my screen. No, I sent you the link to it, didn't I?
Yeah, Svetlana Dali.
Yeah. Hang on. And well, why don't you go ahead? You got it on your screen. I don't have this.
Yeah, I said she was stowed away from New York to Paris, and the French authorities, they decided to send her back.
But did they reveal? I can't remember if they revealed how she got on the plane. I guess she just walked through the ticket thing without.
She sat quietly in the back of the aircraft in the middle aisle. Occasionally, she leaned her head against the seat in front of her, staring down at the floor, and closed her eyes and listening to music.
And this is this is her third attempt, I think. The first two were unsuccessful, I think.
Wow, she really wanted to go to Paris.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's how she snuck by airport security. The initial incident in which Dolly somehow sneaked onto the plane, one of the busiest travel days of the year, has raised serious questions about airport security after she was able to bypass multiple checkpoints. Dolly first bypassed the airport terminal employee in charge of the line for the new crew member checkpoint at JFK Airport. So she actually got through there without they were supposed to check your ID and boarding pass there, and that
your
didn't
passport.
happen.
Okay, my
Yeah.
mistake. She didn't. My mistake, Tommy. She didn't try to do it two other times. They made two attempts to get her on the plane from Paris back to New York, and she's just started screaming after boarding the plane, and Delta refused to fly her.
Well, I sympathize when you're already in Paris and you sat in the middle seat over in economy. That's gotta.
Anyway, I just so surprised. Yeah, because she's got to get through security, and she's got to have a ticket for that,
Right.
and then she's got to get through at the gate with a passport. I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
phenomenal.
I don't know what the hell failed here. This to me is quite alarming, to be honest with you. And she went through known crew, and the whole known crew member thing to me is a little bit crazy, to be honest with you. So you have pilots and flight attendants who don't go through security. They don't screen their. If you have, in the country we live in, it's not like it doesn't happen that there aren't a lot of shootings and stuff happening, but and people going nuts. Including airline pilots, and so I'm not going to lie to you that where my home airport in Sacramento, it's right next to the TSA pre-line, and pretty much what happens is that the Southwest pilots, they come up there, or whatever pilot comes up there, they show their ID, and then they just go through. They don't scan their bags, they don't scan their person, nothing. So obviously that's where she got through, which is even worse because nobody screened her for weapons.
Yep. Okay. Well,
Anyways,
that's
good
depressing
times
stories.
are had by all, and we've got to move over to Virgin Voyages.
This is great. This is not one of these sail all around the world ones. This is you can board for an entire year for $120,000. You can board any of the three existing Virgin ocean liners. They've got a new one coming out. You'll get that one in a year too.
And it includes a +1, right?
Yeah, you can bring somebody else, and although you only get per ship, you only get $100 alcohol credit. So there's your big expense. But you've got to book by March 31st for this pass. It's a first come first served basis. So if you want to spend a year cruising around with Virgin, $120,000. You know,
I don't. I feel like that's overpriced. I mean, you do a round the world cruise, and what kind of cabin is it in? Does it say?
it doesn't. This story I don't think says pass holders, and you got to pay taxes. You know, you can board any of them. The company will launch. Nope, nope, nope. Doesn't say which particular. Well, it's got to be a
Inside cabin, yeah. So
yeah,
an inside
yeah.
cabin for a round the world cruise starts at $20,000 per person, and those are usually 6 months. So I don't
Okay,
think
well
this is
this
cheap. This is cheap. And what's the general consensus about Virgin? Though I know some people have gone on them, especially the miles and points people, because you could use more Virgin miles, and those are easy to obtain.
right.
What kind of a cruise line is it?
I thought it was supposed to be sort of, almost. I mean, you're not getting unlimited caviar like you would on a seaborne cruise, maybe, but I think it's a fairly luxurious ship.
No,
But
I
you're
don't
right.
think so because first of all, alcohol, like you said, is not included. That's included on
That's true.
most.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
you
Hey, I
you you.
found it. I found it. You will get a sea terrace cabin complete with a balcony and hammock, complimentary laundry, unlimited premium Wi-Fi, $100 bar tab credit per voyage, dedicated concierge support, priority boarding, blah blah blah. So you're getting an outside cabin with a hammock. I've never.
With a balcony. That's not so bad.
No,
Still, at the end, I've heard that it's like a party cruise. Like
really?
it's a lot of noisy stuff and a lot of parties, and there's group where there are like matching groups for singles that you can do with like swingers and singles and all kind of stuff like that. That's what I've
Sounding
heard.
better all the time, Tommy.
Yeah, maybe you should move on to that, Rudy. I don't know if you
um,
can handle it for a year though.
no, I don't. I don't think. I'd be dead. But yeah, right,
But
right,
I
right,
mean,
right, right.
the thing here is also, this is obviously a gimmick. I think that this is a stupid idea because those cruise ships, they literally go the same route. So
Yeah,
it goes around in circles in the Caribbean forever in the winter, and it
true,
goes around in circles in the Mediterranean in the summer. So
true.
I'm not 100% sure that round the world cruises, which are usually 100, say 160 to 200 days,
Yeah,
they don't stop at the same place twice. So
yep.
it's gonna be very repetitive here. So I don't know how well I feel. So if it's 10,000 a month, I don't know. It's would you go?
If I had the money and I had nothing else to do, I'd consider it. But I mean, because if you pay $3,000 or $4,000 a month in rent, but then you have to pay for food and utilities and Wi-Fi and laundry and so on. I mean, you could probably spend 7,000 a month just living as an ordinary guy like I am.
Ordinary guy.
Yeah, but but I mean,
You're
120.
an ordinary guy.
Well, I'm not a rich guy. Let's put it that way. I'm not checking into the Four Seasons for 80,000. So
There,
yeah, think of
that's
it that way. One night at the Four Seasons for 80, or 120 for a whole year on a ship you can get on and off of anytime you want.
there you go. Exactly. All right, moving on. Aloha. We are at the beat of Hawaii. The Hawaiian and Alaska merger is moving forward, and they are on effective December 4th, which is today. They are moving airport operations together, starting to do that, and it's in San Francisco. And they're going to start airport operations together for the first time today.
You know more about this than I do. Is anybody changing their name on the plane? Are they changing the name? No,
Nope,
no,
they're
I
keeping the
didn't think so.
brand Hawaiian, and I think that was first of all, Alaska has way, way, way overpaid for Hawaiian for this. It is a lot of moolah they paid for it. So. It'll obviously the good news is that we will probably see Hawaiian Airlines joining One World sooner rather than later. They've never been in an alliance, and it's obviously the best and most comfortable way to get to the islands on a regular basis. I mean,
Why
from the
did it?
east.
Why did they pay so much money, Alaska, just to get Hawaii and California and sort of more? Or?
I honestly don't know. I think that they had a desire to become a larger carrier. Alaska has always been
Yeah,
like one of the
right,
smaller ones in the U.S., and they had a desire to grow. And I
right,
guess that's the biggest gig for now.
right, right, right. Well, that's great. I mean, and again, if they become part of the One World Alliance, that'll make a lot of American Airlines
Right.
guy's happy. So yeah.
Yeah. So now they can both be found in Terminal 1 in San Francisco Airport instead of being in two different terminals. So they're now the consolidation is starting already, which effective today. They're if you're flying Hawaiian or Alaska out of San Francisco, check-in will be at Terminal 1.
Okay. All right.
All right. So today there was a little bit of movement. In regards to there are a lot of AI stuff going on, and Google is partnering with Air France KLM on various tools they're going to be building together based on AI. I thought that was kind of interesting. AI can do a lot of things, and we haven't seen a lot of movement in more than a decade. It hasn't been anything useful in the space of AI, and now we're seeing the travel industry. They're aiming to create better tech with data science. So the airline loyalty programs have a massive amount of data. They have, the largest loyalty programs have 100+ million members, and it's not like it's just, somebody signing up for an
they know where
list.
you travel and how much you're willing to pay and everything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that these projects are going to try and help airlines become better, and that's why Google is going into this business, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I hope it does. We should probably note. I didn't send you an article on this, but I'll go ahead. You've got one up. I'll tell you another one in a minute.
All right. So it was Mercury News, and they usually wants money from you. So I don't obviously local paper here. Let me find another one for that one. Available.
All right, I'll talk.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Well, 1 month from now, January 5th to be exact, a month and 1 day from now, congestion pricing starts in Midtown Manhattan. I mean, I've never recommended anybody from out of town drive into or anybody in town to drive in downtown Manhattan. But you can go on both sides of the Long Island of Manhattan. You can go on the West Side Highway on one side and the FDR Drive on the FDR Drive and West Side the other way.
Right.
Anyway, the point is you can go along the side and you can go at the edges of top and bottom. But in the center of Manhattan, it's going to cost you $2.25 during an overnight period. It used to cost $3.75 when it was originally proposed, so it's down a bit. It'll cost more for commercial vehicles. There are some discounts available for vehicle owners who already pay tolls to cross the Lincoln or Holland tunnels into Manhattan during peak hours, but and for people who made less than $50,000 in previous years. I don't know.
Really?
Do you have to show your income tax? I have no idea. But
Cool.
the congestion zone starts, and that'll be good news for pedestrians and for delivery vehicles.
Kidding.
But
I'm all for all of that.
January 5th, but don't drive. Don't drive into Manhattan at all if you're going to help.
Speaking of, it's now, so in September, mid-September or early September, Caltrain's new trains and the electrification project was finalized between San Francisco and a little bit south of San Jose. And these are, you'll recognize these train sets from Switzerland and among other places. They're made in the U.S., but it's a Swiss company that makes them. And there has been an explosive demand for
more cars.
So it's the ridership in October. So more than 753,000 passengers, 50% increase from October of 2023.
And on what route, Tommy?
From San Francisco to San Jose.
That's already running?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right. It's these new electric trains. And they are. You remember you took it when we had Maxa Tours show at the Travel and Adventure Show.
I took a really slow train from downtown San Francisco
exactly. Those are long gone, my friend.
Yeah,
and
right.
Now, obviously, these trains are the travel time is reduced dramatically. It's like 15 minutes quicker to go there now. And zero emissions. These trains are run by solar panels exclusively, so there's
goodness.
There's no emissions moving these trains around. And in addition to that, there's free Wi-Fi and there's chargers in each seat, and there's club seating where you have a table in the middle. It's the commuters are back, and as you know, San Francisco is making a huge comeback this year. Microsoft have moved their AI office and their AI company and ChatGPT and all those guys are in downtown San Francisco, and Salesforce are now 100% back in the office. So there's a lot more going on downtown San Francisco.
Good.
But it's not accredited to just that. The growth is really, really good. People are loving it, and I'm hoping that will, but from the Caltrains, I don't know if you know this, but the train usually continues to Gilroy, so south of San Jose. And the problem
is that part done?
No.
No.
And there's no funding for that part either. They haven't even started. And the problem is because there's a lack of right-of-way. The electrification product here, $700 million from that, this project here came from California High-Speed Rail because they're going to be sharing tracks together. So in reality, the first piece of high-speed rail is now done, quote unquote done. But of course, between San Jose and Gilroy, there's nothing going on, and we need funding for that, and also we need to get more get private tracks there, so not using the freight operators. And also between there and the Central Valley there's nothing going on either. So it's very, very slowly, but hey, I'll take the win.
But is LA to Central Valley got the money? I know they're working on it, right?
No. So there's 171 miles that are financed, plus the train sets are financed.
And where does the one out of LA go to that is financed so far?
There's nothing out of LA. It's Bakersfield to Merced.
Oh, okay. All right.
So but I mean, at the end of the day, people who don't know how high-speed rail works or inner city works. So first of all, that they're doing Merced to Bakersfield is idiotic, of course. These are smaller cities.
Not high demand, yeah.
No, it's not going to do anything for you. But it's proof of concept, and they got the funding to do it, and it's building, and it'll be done around 2030, right? The trains are arriving in 2028. And also this piece is done. And then they also have started, there's funding for between the station in San Francisco. I don't know, when you took the train, did you take it from San Francisco?
Yeah.
So you know that the station is far away from downtown, right?
Yes, you got to
they have also the funding to build that tunnel from that station to Salesforce Center, which is the station.
Goodness. Right down in the financial district. That's good.
That building is underway, and Salesforce Center is a much, much better location, and you got all the buses connected there to all the other stuff that's going on. And that is also the first high-speed rail station. It's already built down in the basement, but it's obviously, it doesn't go anywhere. It's two walls, one on each side, right? One is supposed to go across the bay, and the other one is supposed to go down. So that's funded, but it's a mess. It'll take a long time, and obviously with the incoming administration, we're probably going to see a bigger slowdown on many of the things that we were hoping to get funded.
Right.
But anyway, so here commuters are loving it, and I love to see 753,000 passengers in a month. That's a substantial amount of commuters.
It is. That's great to hear, yeah.
And also the ridership, and also the fun part is that ridership on the weekend was up 150%.
Wow.
So, meaning that people are using it instead of driving into the city or to moving around, they're using the train, which is a phenomenal idea. And this is the trains. The trains that you did in Europe when you were there on vacation, that's what you get between San Francisco and Palo Alto and San Jose.
That's so good tonight. And I don't know how I missed the fact they were up and running, but thank you for telling us.
Yeah,
hey, awesome, let me tell you something. I don't have any graphic for it, but real fast, I just remembered. All my friends want to go to Portugal. Portugal's hot. Has been for about 2 years, I think. But the Portuguese airline TAP has just figured that out, and they're starting nonstop flights soon between LA.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Oh, you got it?
I do.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, between LA, San Francisco, and what's the other city? To Lisbon, obviously.
They're doing Boston, San Francisco, and LA.
That's it. That's nice.
And
that's
then
nice
Porto to Boston, so the secondary city.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and they're also flying from San Francisco to San Francisco to the Azores.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
so the they already fly from San Francisco
Lisbon?
to Lisbon,
No, I
but the
didn't know
new
that.
flight is to the Azores, which is a phenomenal thing if you want to visit that place. We know we have now the new airport in Greenland, so we can finally get flights from the U.S. That's a lot of the airlines are starting now in January with that. Greenland is going to blow up this year. It's going to be a big destination soon. And here, the Azores is also going to be a big destination now that we get it for the first time in history. Get a flight from the West Coast to the Azores.
Didn't the former President Trump try to buy Greenland or something, or make a? Didn't he say that?
Yeah, he's
Big
putting
on
together a
Greenland.
winning team now, so that's good. We're in good hands. So
Yeah,
they
I've never
they're
been to the Azores. Have you been?
I have not been to the Azores, but I'd love to go. It's on my bucket list for sure to head over there. And this is phenomenal news. And TAP is they've got some new equipment, and Neeleman was in there as an owner and was helping out for a while. And the guy who started JetBlue,
JetBlue,
and it's so I feel like and also Breeze now, and I feel like that's going to be a good big winner there for sure.
Good.
All right. And we go over to a commercial here, obviously. Interesting. So a lot of people were very excited about Apple getting into the Vision Pro, these AI glasses, like the VR glasses, virtual reality glasses. Did you see this happening a while back?
Oh, of course. Yes, yes, yes. I thought they were just going to get better and better, but this headline suggests maybe
It's
they're.
over. That's the way that one went.
Are they closing it down or just halting
They are
production?
stopping. It
Really?
is the game. It's game over as a revolutionary product, but it was $3,500 and kind of not a lot of targets out there for that.
Wow, I had no. I'm glad I tuned into this podcast or webcast, I should say.
Yeah, no kidding.
That
It's,
is, I had no idea they were
Yeah,
stopping
it's
that.
game over for that. It lasted not very long, and think about all those poor people that spent $3,500 and they're not going to get support and they're not going to get an upgraded product either. It is game over for that. Just
sorry to hear
less
that.
than a year after launch.
Wow.
And there are some cheapy deals out there for those who are stupid enough to go out and buy it.
Well, can you still use them on? I mean, is there product for it to watch?
Yeah, there are apps, big companies that spend a ton of money integrating apps into it. I think that it's a mistake. I mean, it's like, what are they doing down there in Cupertino? Are they? They're obviously when you sell something that costs $3,500, people are not going to buy it. It is a great device, though. But
Yeah.
I bet you it costs $200 to make it, or $300 to make it. So why not make it $1,000 or $1,500? I would have owned them. I've seen a lot. I got friends of mine who have them, and that are big Apple freaks, and I would totally have one. But the price they're delusional. They're thinking they're going to get volume on it, and
Yeah,
it bombed as expected.
I just presumed that with each year it would get cheaper and cheaper, as most
Now,
electronic
Apple
things
doesn't do that. Apple puts a price, and you pay what it costs, and that's it, right?
Well, that's too bad, because I was looking forward to getting one at a cheaper price and being able to watch travel
Well, now you can
shows
do
and
it, but there
travel
probably
videos.
won't be any updates.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is kind of critical for phones and stuff,
Yeah.
All right, Avello. Have you ever flown Avello?
I have not.
Right. They are expanding. They're doing some international routes, and it looks like they're doing a little bit of growth from Raleigh Durham to both Montego Bay and Punta Cana. They're started to expand internationally. They're also doing Manchester, New Hampshire to a couple of places nobody cares about, and then Concord, USA. Where's Concord? Here in
Massachusetts? I don't know. What's the symbol for the airport?
USA?
USA?
What it says.
Airport symbol. Let's see what we got. The last.
Concord, North Carolina.
Didn't even come up when I put in USA airport.
Yeah, no, it did. It came up. So North Carolina to Daytona Beach and to Nashville, and then Rochester, New York to Nashville and Wilmington. A lot of places that nobody cares about, but they're growing, which a competition is great.
Well, it's good for folks who live in smaller towns who don't have to drive 2 hours to a major airport. But boy,
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
I'm sure Avalon did their research beforehand, so they're not making a really stupid move.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying those are weird city combinations to
No
pull out of your
kidding.
hat. So
No kidding. And Air Canada to introduce carry-on freeze for some passengers.
I bet Ottawa's not happy.
Yeah, no kidding. So now we're going to get regulations and stuff like that. So passengers who are on the basic economy fare are going to have to pay 35 Canadians for the first bag and 50 for the second. A passenger will now have to pay for larger items such as rollerboard and duffel bags. So United Airlines have implemented similar policies. Yeah, so that's, I mean, the problem is that Air Canada has a more wide use of basic fares. So I don't know, just a little cheapskatey, and it's just United that does it here. So I don't know.
And is it only for basic fares on
Yes.
Air Canada? Oh,
Yes.
okay, so it's not everybody. All right.
No, but Air Canada has an interesting kind of pricing, so it'll have a bigger impact on Air Canada than many other carriers.
Okay.
All right, last but not least, have you ever rented from Turo?
A long time. Yes, I have actually. Yes, I've rented twice from them. Yes, it's in San Francisco both times.
Right. So it is a like Airbnb of car rental.
Yeah, individuals put their cars up to rent right online, and they'll meet you and hand you the
get
keys.
your neighbor's worn out Ultima and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan myself. I've seen so many problems with it, and also it's very, very important to note that you have to buy insurance from them because your credit card coverage is not valid on Turo.
I didn't know that.
So
What kind of bad experiences have you heard about, Tommy?
people who rent cars with worn out tires, people
that
who
kind of thing. Bad cars,
technicals thing, and it's some dude's car, right? So maybe the dude is
And if it breaks
oversleep.
down, unless you've
Maybe
got
he
AAA.
oversleeps, or maybe he's stuck in a meeting, or he doesn't show up when he's supposed to. Where do you get my keys? And individuals are. Let's just say it's not for me. During the pandemic, when rental cars were hard to come by, there was a market for it, and they haven't really lowered their prices, and people are delusional. So you can it's cheaper to rent cars, and it's safer. But I would say that, so just mentioning that United has made an agreement with them, you get 5 miles per dollar spent on your first rental, and then you get 1 mile per dollar spent on subsequent bookings. So much, much less than you would get from a rental from, for example, Hertz.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm disappointed to hear it's not cheaper. I mean, originally they had a different name for it. I can't remember it before it was Turo. But originally the cars, the rent was considerably cheaper than an Avis or a Hertz. So, but I gather you said they raised them during
Yeah,
COVID,
it was
and they
people
haven't
were
dropped
taking
them much.
advantage of the fact that there weren't any rental cars, right? That was the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
So it's probably have adjusted itself away now, but it's like littered with tons of fees, like cleaning fees and all sorts of drop fees and things like that, things that you don't want to deal with. So some people do it, but I think our Super Speeder Rob is a car YouTuber who's a decent guy, and I follow him. He's a little bit of an interesting fella, and he was banned by Turo for trash talking them on his YouTube channel. So
there are worse fates.
but I think at the end of the day, he was like criticizing them for the things that I just said. So now I'm obviously going to be banned from Turo too. Well, nobody watches this, so that's good, right? But some people do, but not as many as his 900,000 subs. But
What's his
I would
name?
say
I've never heard of. What's his name?
Super Speeder Rob is what is
Speeder Rob.
Yeah, that's his channel.
Does he
And
cover all
runs
kinds of cars?
a luxury car rental out of New Jersey.
I spoke over you. He runs a luxury car rental business out of New Jersey?
He does. Yeah, he rents out like Ferraris and Lamborghinis and things like that.
So what's his media about?
He just likes whatever he talks about, his life and what he's doing, building cars and renting out cars and all opinions and stuff about car business. It's just a popular car blog.
Okay.
Or vlog, if you will.
Super Speedy Rob. I like the name.
Super Speeder. But
Speeder
that's all
Rob.
I had for today.
All right. Well, I'm out of stuff too. I think we're up to date. Let me remind. I didn't tell anybody who we were, but by now they either.
But it says on the screen there.
Yeah. Well, right. I'm a travel journalist and broadcaster. Tommy was an early adapter, an expert on frequent flyer miles and and incentive programs for airlines and hotels and rental cars, and he runs a bunch of websites. He does so much, I don't know. But anyway, we call ourselves travel experts. So if you got all the way through this, wonder who are these guys, and all they talk
Who
about
are
is
these guys?
travel. That's why. And also, remember, we're doing this live December 4th, 2024. If you watch it later, take into consideration the fact that the information we gave you might, in some cases, be out of date. So, but thank you for joining us today. Good to see you, Tommy.
You too, sir. Thank you
You
for
got an
joining,
airplane
everybody.
flying into your head there on your left side. I just wanted to let you
Yeah,
know.
that's the Star Alliance plane. We raised a ton of money for charity with selling a ton of those for the 20th anniversary of Star Alliance.
Nice.
There
All
you
right, well,
have it.
take care.
You
Take
too.
care.
Thanks,
Happy
everybody,
December.
for joining.